My name is Dennis Wilkinson, and my wife and I and our 4 kids moved into the West End just a little over a year ago. And one of the things that is important to us is that neighbors actually care for one another. And we realize that it's really tough to care for someone if you don't know them. And it's impossible to know someone if you don't spend time with them. So Miston and I hatched this plan. I know what we're going to do. We're going to have a community barbecue. We've got a little green space in front of where we live, and we'll just do that. And we had no idea if anybody would come or anything like that. So we just invited some of our neighbors and some of our friends, and 50 people showed up in our tiny little patch of grass, and we had a wonderful time. And so we ended up doing 5 of those community barbecues last summer, and it was a fantastic experience for us. And it just reaffirmed to me, I think that, all of us, I think maybe in our deepest core, realize that we're not meant to be solitary. We're meant to be social. And life is better when you spend it together. And that was what was affirmed to us. And there's just one little story. The July barbecue that we did, I had a master plan to combine the barbecue with my wife's birthday party. But the plan was for it to be a surprise. And in order for that to happen, we had to share life together with our neighborhood. So the plan was one neighbor take Miston away for the day, and then the big idea was me and the kids were going to bake a cake for Miston. And now, I've never baked a cake in my life. So I was entirely dependent upon my 5-year-old, my 4-year-old, my 2-year-old, and my 1-year-old. So that was the game plan. So we made it into the kitchen, and we got working. And Darby, my 2-year-old son, had the mixer, the bzzz. Now there are some women, I suppose, that wouldn't notice frosting on the ceiling. My wife is not one of those, and so my 3-year-old was in charge of my 4-year-old was in charge of cracking the eggs. So it was a fatal flaw in the plan, because the kitchen was an absolute disaster area, and that's when a couple of neighbors dropped in. Hey, Dan, how's it going? Ooh, not good. Do you need a hand? Yes. So they helped clean so that Miston had no idea that the cake was being made. And then Steve and Yvonne, our neighbors next door, came over and smuggled the cake away so Miston had no idea that it was there. And then other neighbors brought in food and stuff, and so Miston was unsuspecting there. And then at just the right time, the cake came out, and we had a huge celebration together. And I just think life is better when you share it. And that's kind of the message that I guess I'm hoping to see happen in the West End, is that we can learn and figure out creative ways to share life together.
Hi everybody, my name is Barb. And interestingly enough, I've been walking my daughter to school and passing Dennis's wife for a few days, and we met, and it just dawned on me today that she is Dennis's wife. Hey, that's so cool. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but did you know the Underground Railroad has a western exit, and it's Vancouver. And that's how my wife and our 2 kids were propelled to Vancouver a few years ago, and we have been doing our best to live happily ever since. We knew we wanted to come to Vancouver. Got to get as close as you can. It was more affordable originally to be in Burnaby, and we had everything. We had all the things before. We had a house, we had 2 cars, we had land, we had outbuildings. Do you know what those are? Anyway, yeah, we had all that, but we just let it go, and we ended up in a hotel room, and it was really amazing because it was so beautiful here. But we're in Burnaby, living our life, enjoying it, but we kept being drawn farther and farther into Vancouver, and Amber got work there, and it's like, okay, that's a commute. It's like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes a day. Commuting is a lot. So we ended up saying, well, why don't we move there? Why don't we just move downtown? It's like, well, you're kidding, you know, do people really live there? So we rented a car and we went and we found, hey, there is this thing there, it's the West End, and it's actually a neighborhood. And we were lucky enough to make it into the West End, and we found an apartment on the 24th floor, and it was amazing. So, you know, we had been living with a stroller and a SkyTrain, so we wanted to have a garden. There's not a lot of green space available, so we just piled 25 bags of dirt on the stroller and took it up with our worm composter and put it up on the balcony. And, you know, everything was really great for a really long time. Well, for 3 years. That was a pretty long time, though, for a family, right? Because you're growing and growing. But as our son got closer to kindergarten and finances kind of do this, we were like, ooh, and our 11-year-old daughter was not so keen on sharing a bedroom anymore with her 5-year-old brother. Things were changing. So it's like, okay, well, 3 bedrooms in the West End? I don't think so. So we applied to 35 co-ops. And in that process, it finally dawned on me that, you know, yes, we're exactly in the place we want to be, but we're never going to live in a house. And I did a little bit of mourning about that. It was like, okay, I want to accept this because this is really awesome, everything's really good, but, you know, it all kind of became symbolized in the fact that my children are never going to have a spigot. Do you know what that is? It's an outdoor faucet, you know, where you can attach a hose and you can play and stuff like that, and you get a drink of water. Well, strangely enough, like literally within weeks, we got an opportunity to move into Barclay Heritage Square, which is city-owned affordable housing. And now we have 3 bedrooms. We still live in the West End. We've got a little yard, and we have a spigot. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I know how rare and valuable and very unique that is. So, you know, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if everybody had an opportunity to have access to a spigot? And that would be just so cool. And just to end up my story, it was like in the back of that park, I think Dennis lives near there too, there's a fountain, and they just turned the fountain on. And today, I'm almost crying. Today, when I walked my son home from bringing our daughter to school, there was a guy there who makes his living as a binner, washing his feet in the fountain. And it's just like, you know, that is a really beautiful thing. I'm so grateful to be here, and I thank you all, and I thank the city for having this kind of a venue, and thank you to Borden Neighborhood House, because Borden Neighborhood House is a real hub for us. It's pretty much our church. It's pretty much our social center. It's where we have found acceptance and connections, and the small grants has been a way for us to move out into the community, meet other people, and share some of the good stuff that we like. Thank you.